All right, 36 past the hour. We are just a couple of minutes away from Hollywood's big day. We're about to hear the nominees for the 83rd Academy Awards. We will see this happen. You will see this happen live right here. The award ceremony not until February 27th, but we are standing by for a couple of folks to step to that podium right there to give us this year's nominees.
That's right. And Belinda Luscombe, she's Time Magazine editor-at-large. She's here with us. This is the only time Hollywood wakes up at 5:30 instead of going to bed at 5:30,
I don't
right?
think they ever go to bed. Yeah, no, that's right.
This will be very interesting because this is the second year that 10 films are nominated for Best Picture, so an expanding pack of movies in there.
That's right, which takes away some of the suspense because you have all the main choices get to win. All the same, you know, the 9th and 10th spot, there's always like, who's going to make it? Is it Ben Affleck's movie, The Town? Is it The Winter's Bone? There's a couple of independent movies that would love to get an Oscar nomination to make a little bit more money. Not that The Town needs it. It did very well, actually.
Okay, I'm fascinated to talk to you before we came on here just about how political this thing, we have no idea behind the scenes how much effort goes into the campaigning and targeting certain audiences so you can win certain awards and then get kind of the pub. This is pretty much a parlor game behind the scenes, isn't it?
If TV doesn't work out for you, TJ, what you could do is you could become an Oscar lobbyist. And that means that around Oscar time, you could make a living just going to Academy members, hosting parties, you know, beginning to promote films. It's a lot like a political campaign. They know who the Academy members are, they know where they live, and they sort of know how to persuade them. And it means real money. A little movie like Blue Valentine that hasn't, you know, got a lot of press can then get so much more press and a lot more money if they get an Oscar nomination.
Well,
they don't have to win the Oscar. They just have to get nominated.
Thank you for the career tip.
That's pretty interesting, though. Also, The Social Network, this is a film that really cleaned up at the Golden Globes and has gotten a lot of accolades and is sort of in the running almost for Best Picture. They say they spent more money on the campaign for the film than they did actually producing it.
That's right. The Social Network has been, up until recently, the white-hot favorite to win the Oscar. It will definitely be nominated. I bet if I owned a farm, I'd bet the farm.
And there's
but
the
it
music.
may not win.
All right, let's listen. Let's listen to who's nominated.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm Tom Sherak, President of the Academy. Welcome to our home. We've got some big news to announce this morning, and to help me, I'm very happy to welcome Academy Award winner Monique.
Thank you, Tom.
Welcome, Monique.
And good morning, everyone.
The 2010 nominees for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role are Amy Adams in The Fighter, Helena Bonham Carter in The King's Speech, Melissa Leo in The Fighter, Hailee Steinfeld in True Grit, and Jacki Weaver in The Animal Kingdom. Monique?
Thank you. For Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role, the nominees are Christian Bale in The Fighter, John Hawkes in Winter's Bone, Jeremy Renner in The Town, Mark Ruffalo in The Kids Are All Right, and Geoffrey Rush in The King's Speech.
That's good. For Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, the nominees are Annette Bening in The Kids Are All Right, Nicole Kidman in Rabbit Hole, Jennifer Lawrence in Winter's Bone, Natalie Portman in The Black Swan, and Michelle Williams in Blue Valentine.
The nominees for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role are Javier Bardem in Biutiful, Jeff Bridges in True Grit, Jesse Eisenberg in The Social Network, Colin Firth in The King's Speech, and James Franco in 127 Hours.
For Best Achievement in Directing, Darren Aronofsky for Black Swan, David O. Russell for The Fighter, Tom Hooper for The King's Speech, David Fincher for The Social Network, and Joel Cohen and Ethan Cohen for True Grit.
For Best Original Screenplay, the nominees are Mike Lee for Another Year, Scott Silver, Paul Tomasi, Eric Johnson, and Keith Dorrington for The Fighter, Christopher Nolan for Inception, Lisa Cholodinko and Stuart Blumberg for The Kids Are All Right, and David Seiler for The King's Speech.
For Adapted Screenplay, we have Danny Boyle and Simon Beaufoy for 127 Hours. Aaron Sorkin for The Social Network. Michael Arndt, John Lasseter, Andrew Stanton, and Lee Unkrich for Toy Story 3. Joel Cohen and Ethan Cohen for True Grit. And Deborah Cranick and Ann Rossellini for Winter's Bone.
For Best Foreign Film Language, for Best Foreign Language Film, we have from Mexico, Biutiful. From Greece, Dogtooth. From Denmark, In a Better World. From Canada, Encendi. And from Algeria, Outside the Law.
For Best Animated Feature Film, the nominees are How to Train Your Dragon, Chris Sanders and Dean Dubois. The Illusionist, Sylvain Chomet. And Toy Story 3, Lee Unkrich.
And finally, I'm pleased to announce that the 10 films selected as the Best Picture nominees for 2010 are Black Swan, Mike Medavoy, Ron Oliver, and Scott Franklin, producers. The Fighter, David Hoberman, Todd Lieberman, and Mark Wahlberg, producers. Inception, Emma Thomas and Christopher Nolan, producers. The Kids Are All Right, Gary Gilbert, Geoffrey Leverhent, and Celine Rattray, producers. The King's Speech, Ian Canning, Emil Sherman, and Garth Ewan, producers. 127 Hours, Christian Colson, Danny Boyle, and John Smithson, producers. The Social Network, Scott Rudin, Dana Bernetti, Michael DeLuca, and Sion Chafin, producers. Toy Story 3, Darla K. Anderson, producer. True Grit, Scott Rudin, Ethan Cohen, and Joel Cohen, producers. And Winter's Bone, Ann Rossellini and Alex Madigan Yorkin, producers.
You're invited to join us on February 27th when we celebrate the very best that movies have to offer. We'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's rejoin, as we were listening there, rejoin Belinda Lipscomb joining us here. You reacted to several things there. What were some of the biggest things that maybe jumped out? People always talk about snubs. Who just got snubbed?
Well, I don't like to talk about snubs. I like to talk about who did really well. The surprise to me, and it always is a surprise, is Best Supporting Actress. There's always one person that nobody's ever heard of, and what's she doing here? And in this movie, it's the Australian actress. She's in a movie called Animal Kingdom, and she was the fifth person nominated, Jacki Weaver. Nobody's ever heard of her. She plays a mother, and you'll notice that a lot of the actresses and supporting actresses, the big roles this year, have been mothers. In The Kids Are All Right, in I think Melissa Leo, in The Fighter. We seem to be thinking about motherhood a lot at the moment in our movies, and a lot of the nominees are that. On the male side, a lot of the nominees are playing real characters. Mm-hmm. The guy who plays Mark Zuckerberg, the guy who plays Aaron Ralston, those are actual people that are being portrayed, and the Academy seems to be acknowledging those.
You also talk about, that was interesting, the theme of the upper class versus lower class in terms of how some of these movies are set and cast, like The King's Speech.
Right, The King's Speech and The Social Network are movies that are about the total elite of the elite. Right. Ivy League, royal family, and then a lot of the other movies, Winter's Bone, The Fighter, they're set really among the much more gritty neighborhoods of America, the very, very rural or very, very downtrodden urban areas. And those seem to be the two places. It looks like The King's Speech, like the elite is going to win, but those it seems to be that's where the interest is in the Academy at the moment. I would never discount Harvey Weinstein, who is a great Academy campaigner, and you'll notice he did pretty well, getting, I think, a nomination for Michelle Williams for Blue Valentine, so that's big. The big winner here, though, is Winter's Bone, which nobody has probably seen. A very small movie, not made by a big company, which I think got at least 3 or 4 nominations. Did really well for the actress, the young actress, the actor, and these are not stars by any means. So
you also pointed out, interestingly enough, that not a lot of movies this year were big money makers anyway, besides Toy Story, Inception, and The Social Network.
That often happens with the Academy, but you know, they beg for an Avatar, a movie that everybody loved and will tune in for. But you notice that they chose Natalie Portman, you know, a lot of young actresses who will bring people to the telecast, which is what they want. Interestingly, they didn't choose Mila Kunis for Black Swan, which she had got a lot of attention for that, and she seemed to have dropped out. So
All right. Well, it's coming up next month, but we appreciate you being here, walking us through it. Belinda Lipscomb, we appreciate you so much.
Thank you
so much.
All right, we're going to be talking weather with our Jacki Jarrett's. A couple of storms you need to keep an eye out for. Stay with us.